I would just like to find out, is there a specific rate for different commodities that will be shipped, like cold storage or dry goods or provision? Is there a specific rate per cubic feet per container?
I can say right now it can only vary between if you have refrigerated cargo and dry cargo, and the only difference in the dry cargo would be hazardous. So they would have one rate for dry cargo. If it's hazardous, you would have a different rate. And again, if and when we do get into the reefer market, that would be a different rate also. But it would be one standard rate. Basically, 3 categories that you would do.
I want to talk about demurrage for a moment, right? Some reason I encountered some demurrage and it's outstanding. We do not get our release for our documents to clear the shipments. I say that in the context of if we have a shipment coming in and there's a delay somewhere, no fault of ours, we don't have any cause, any recourse. But yet, if we encounter demurrage, we cannot clear our shipments. And I don't know what comment the agents or the shipping lines can make, and maybe they can do to assist us in that regard.
Okay, I'm a lowly old agent, that's all, so I can talk for the line. But what I can say is, when you're bringing in your cargo, right, lines encounter different delays because of the, I would say, the new routes that people take. It's no longer direct. You have 3 or 4 port calls in between before you get to Trinidad. So there are going to be some delays. Unfortunately, I know Moose can say Moose had a fire on one of their ships earlier this month. So there are delays. That's going to happen. The demurrage side is basically the line gives you 5 free days on reefer cargo, 12 free days on dry cargo. They came up with that formula, I would say, in Trinidad itself, because they feel that was ample time for anybody to clear their cargo. Now, what happens is we get tied up in Trinidad with Carnival Monday and Tuesday, you know, Easter, customs didn't come out to work, Asakuda down, port system down, and basically the line says, that's not my issue, Trinidad. Deal with your problem. And again, some of these issues come from, I don't have my phytosanitary certificate, that again, I must get an original from the state. You know, we have asked customs before, please work with a photocopy that's sent so we can start processing documentation. So the line does not want to charge, it's a punitive charge for them, but they say, I lease that box. That's a true cost to me. I need to flip that box as fast as I can to keep it in circulation to make money. If and when you keep that box for whatever time, I'm going to charge you for it. Unfortunately, we're saddled with that. No line wants to come out and say, hi, give me my $25 for your day demurrage, when I really could be making $2,000 on a free charge. So that's really where they were. I mean, I'm only talking from the agent side. And again, ever since demurrage started, we have seen, you know, we agents have been through, the Shipping Association has been through this. We've gotten a lot of licks from the importers. We never started demurrage on export for the same thing. Some lines are charging it. They give you 14 free days for your exports. But if you hold that box and maybe your consignee in Grenada isn't ready for the box, you can't hold that box indefinitely. So they are going to be charged. Again, they have some lines that will work with the consignees depending on the situation. They have some lines who, with the bigger, I can say the bigger consignees, your Unilevers, your Price Marts and so on, who have certain extended contract terms. So again, it's something you can work out with the line. I know from time to time we have gone back to our line and again saw the interest of the consignee saying, boy, this is really what happened. The line will waive it depending, but for you coming to say, boy, my broker didn't come out to work today, so I didn't get cleared on that. The line not going to entertain. So again, but we need to, as a public, push back against our administrators and say, we need an efficient service. We need things coming in, out. It's not a custom officer saying, boy, you didn't dot your I, so therefore holding up, refer to CPI. You know, it's simple little things like that. They've now gone, we've just gotten a notice that for our landing accounts that we used to do in Asakuda. You know, when Asakuda first came out, customs worked with the agents and the line stating, you know, what problems we were having. And we were saying, if I have to run to you for every 2 seconds for an amendment, it's going to take longer. As again, amendments are not allowed right away. So let me change a piece count. If it's not 12 pieces, it's 13. And I can show you the invoice from the supplier. Or if a name is spelled incorrectly, my name is spelled R-H-E-T-T. Somebody might put R-H-E-T. You know, customs frowns on that now. And we say, that's just more paperwork that I have to bring to you to allow to get it done, which will probably push more people into demurrage.
But the major question that I asked was that why do you hold the deliveries when there's an outstanding demurrage?
Okay, that's with the line and their third-party collection agency. Now, what happened before is prior to, I would say, Beckon coming on, they would give leeway. And they would say, okay, KC Confectionery, you know, go ahead. But then they found out that I now have to run, not just you, but I now have to run customers down for 3 and 4 weeks trying to get my money. So, you know what? We're going to go the hard and fast rule of pay before you get. That's the end. And remember, it's now demurrage and detention. While we lump it all as one, demurrage is paid before you take delivery of the cargo. So if your cargo goes over 12 days, that's still demurrage. So what you would do is pay the demurrage. Now when you bring that container back, if you hold it at your warehouse for another 5 extra days, that's detention. So that's an additional charge that you will have to pay, again, just because you're still over. But they don't have that close date of when your container will be returned. So again, it's more or less Peter pay for Paul because there were so many delinquent customers in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, one last question. I'm looking for an LCL service to Curacao. I didn't see Curacao on the list that you had here.
Unfortunately, Tropical does not currently have a service to Curacao, so with that destination, we may not be able to facilitate at this point in time. If things should change in the future, we definitely will inform you otherwise. Yeah.
Again, we do have a service. It's not something that anybody has asked us before, so we would have to now go to Curacao to find out what will be their charges over there and try and work with our agent over there to find out. If it's something of interest, sure, we can look at it.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I wanted to find out something. You mentioned that in both three of the slides that business who are doing wine is one business who would not be able to ship, or they have to get a license. However, on the other twist to it, I do cream liqueur. Do I need to get a license, or would I be able to ship it like that?
I suggest you contact your customs broker because they would have better information as to that regarding customs.
Hi, good morning. Kellyanne Bethel from Bees Ice Cream. I know a lot of you all said, well, all of you all said that you all don't currently have a reefer service. Is that something that you all are considering in the near future?
Yes, we are. We have a reefer import service, LCL, and we are looking for the export initiative. Again, we would have to work that out with DECO because we would have to station a refrigerated container at the LCL warehouse. So if you bring it, if we're saying 7 days, and it will probably have to be 2 reefers, 1 chilled, 1 frozen. So if you bring your ice cream, we can receive it, hold it until we're ready to pack the container.
Firstly, I love your ice cream. As Mr. Brett also mentioned, we don't have the LCL service currently, so if things should change in the future, we will advise accordingly.
Just if I could ask, perhaps on her behalf, what would encourage you guys to implement that service? Is it about numbers in terms of interest, or what? Or we need to pinpoint, like you say?
I think really it will be that same. It will be the numbers thing, whereby, as Mr. Again, if you would only have 1 LCL person, it's going to take up really just this amount of space in a container. You can pretty much ship 1 pallet versus 12 pallets. Yeah, so it really is trying to develop the local market that for someone that also has may not be the same commodity but the same cargo type.
Just one thing, that's another initiative that we had talked to on the last time. It's also the agents and lines working together. With Vincent's new database, we can see who goes where and on what dates. So if I have a customer that ships one pallet, Tropical has a customer, and somebody else, that's 3 pallets. But we all fighting for that cargo. So we tend to operate in silos and say, okay, I'll put that 1 pallet in my 1 container and we send it, but it's too expensive. So we need to look and see and work together for the betterment of all our exporters and say, you know, this week Tropical might have more cargo than I do, so I will co-load with Tropical. But it's the same thing. You might have more cargo. So if we get that database working, we can see who's going when on what date. You know, we can't make, it might be Tuesday already, but the sailing is on a Friday, so let's go with whoever is on the Friday. So it's a little more collaboration and making sure that we all on the same page.
Hi, it's Wilson from 9 Plus Limited. My question is about rates. I think your rate is partially dependent on, from what I understand, on the dimensions of your package and also on if you're shipping a full container. Like 1 pallet in a 20-foot will cost more than 15 pallets in a 20-foot. Now, if we call early on when you're now trying to fill this pallet, what rate do we get if we're the first versus someone coming in with a pallet, when it takes 1 more pallet to fill it, what rate do they get? See, now the container is now going full.
Well, I'll just answer 2 things. It's based on cubic or weight.
Right.
So, you know, the old age of what weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of lead. So the pound of lead is 1 pound or the pound of feathers is 1 pound, but the cubic of that feathers will be what it's determined of.
Right.
So it's either weight or cubic that we would charge of. Now, again, as I alluded to, we have had talks with Prodeco. On paper, they have agreed that if I put 1 pallet, I'm going to be charged for just that 1 pallet. I'm not going to be charged anything else. So therefore, I can come to you and say, that rate that I'm charging, whether it's a full box, whether it's 1 pallet, is, let's just say, $25 per cubic meter, $50 a cubic meter. So you know, if you put 2 cubic meters, it's $100. I put 3, it's $300. So we're trying to standardize that rate. They're monitoring it and saying, if I do get that full box, then I'll pay you full rate. But I know what it is. That's from our standpoint that we're looking.
Good day, everyone. My name is Rachel. I just have 2 very basic questions because I'm now getting started in my interest in exporting. The first question is, do chocolates need to be chilled? Yeah? Well, you're nodding, so yeah, okay. It's a basic question, so, or else they would melt, I suppose? Yeah? Okay. The second basic question is, who does the packaging of the pallets? And does everything have to be in a pallet to ship?
Usually the shipper will do the packaging of the pallet. Christopher could probably add if it does. You can deliver boxes, you can deliver whatever you want. I think Christopher and them might have pallets within their warehouse that they can get it and shrink wrap it, so it's within standard procedure. But again, if the pallet needs to be broken down to maximize the volume in the container, it will be. It would just have to be labeled. So you might bring in your 1 pallet, but I might need to break it down with your 12 boxes on it, just so I can get it to fit better and make sure all the cargo goes on time.
Okay, well, I'm Christopher Barrett, the Junior Manager of the LCL Warehouse and the Export. And I have to say, ditto, yes, that is everything that is true. Just to press on the pallets though, I mean, on the presentations, they spoke about the pallets being fumigated. Alright, we at Prodeco will try our very best to get at least the plastic pallets to handle the well to actually properly pack the cargo, so we won't have no problems on the other end. Right, we get plastic pallets from various containers that is on stuff from the LCL warehouse side. So we try to help the customer in that way, and yes, we do pack the cargo as well if we have to. The loose boxes, that is.
Is there a charge?
No charge. No charge that. That's a service that we provide.
One thing, he keeps saying no charge. That's no charge.
It's a no charge.
One other thing on your chocolates. It depends on this. Yes, there is. Chocolates usually move at about 65 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a little chill, but it depends on where you're going to if you can get away with it. If you're going to Barbados, Barbados is a 16-hour transit time. So if you basically bring it that morning, if tropical is leaving on the afternoon, you can make that night sailing and be there first thing in the morning. So if you can get it unstuck in time over there, you might be able to get away with it. Other than that, you're looking at, and it must be in you can send a reefer without it at all. A refrigerated container without tin at all. But in a dry box, you don't want to open yourself up to claims.
Yeah.
Morning everyone, Cheryl from Twin Central. In terms of fumigation of the pallet, who does that and what's the process for that other than that?
You have Pestex, you have 3 or 4 different companies that do it, and they usually use methyl bromide, I believe. Yeah, you can do it via that way, or you could also heat treat the pallet. And when you heat treat the pallet, that's when they put the stamp on it. Because once you heat treat pallets, it's up to a certain temperature, it kills whatever bugs that they're looking for inside the pallet. So yes, they are companies. I'll have to try and get it for you.
Yeah, the next thing they can do it themselves, they can just contact the Ministry of Agriculture, and they can tell you some of the things that you can use to fumigate your containers, or even the containers that you're using to pack also. Because there are ways, there are chemicals you can use, right? Just get your protective gears and you can fumigate it for yourself. To make sure.
Who gets the certification for the sign off for when it's alright? Who gets the certification?
Well, also they can recommend
Sign off.
They can recommend companies.
If you do it yourself, you will have to document what you have done, the product that was used, how long it was fumigated for, and so on. Because they will ask for it. So sometimes penny wise, pound foolish, it's easier to go with a reputable company who will give you that certificate.
Just want to jump back to the chocolates query. One thing to be mindful of in shipping cargo, such as food items, there is no way you could do any sort of hazardous cargo in that same container. So this is something that the shipping lines will probably advise you accordingly. So if someone has like a special chemical they want to send across and they want to ship that, you have to just bear in mind that the LCL services, there is no way you could put food and chemicals together. It's obviously going to be a safety concern. Yeah. It will be on the MSDS of the item that you're going to be shipping, and again, just still consult with shipping lines, and we could advise you accordingly. Yeah.
Yes, good morning. I'm Glenn from Easy Foods. I have a question, right? If for some reason your cargo get misplaced or sent to another country, what will happen in that case, and who will be held responsible?
Something like that would actually be handled on a case-by-case basis. It's dependent on how the process happened, where we have to go back now and look to see why the cargo was sent to the wrong island. Was it a fault of the line, or was it a fault of the exporter? And depending on that, as I said, case by case, it would determine who would absorb the cost of it.
Or was it the fault of the
Oh yeah, probably.
If you label your cargo properly, so let's just say you have your one pallet and it's labeled Grenada, and if we receive it as Grenada, but Deco puts it in a St. Lucia box, you have to see where the liability lies, and then we will go after that person. Basically, if it's the line, then problem.
I just want to add without the mic. When we stuff the container, we have a line representative with us as well. Right?
Alright, question related to what you're saying about the hazardous material. Is dry ice considered a hazardous material that cannot be packed with food, even if that was a consideration for some of the shorter distances?
No, dry ice is a hazardous material. Right. It can be packed, but it is extremely volatile. So you have to be very careful with what you're putting it with. It's extremely volatile. A lot of stuff can't go with it, so you could get caught out very easily.
So that's a no. So they
It can be shipped, but again, when you're speaking with the line or the NBO, you need to tell them, I'm sending this, it has dry ice.
Yeah.
Or it will be packed in dry ice.
Okay.
Because again, it might need to be segregated by dunnage, you might have to put up plywood, to separate it, and if anything does happen, because it's toxic gases that come out from it that we have to.
Good day, everyone. I'm from Convenient Kids Essentials. We do manufacturing. But what I really wanted to find out, we're here talking about shipping and whatnot. It might be a little off topic, but on the same topic as well. Is there like trade shows that are available where we can come together to actually generate new business from expos? I don't know if there are any already existing that we could take part of, or if there's something that we could put together to encourage, a larger export and more business to get, the LCL flowing better.
Well, trade shows happen by sector grouping generally. Now there is the TIC that is happening next month, right? So that is a local trade investment convention. So that is something that any of our local manufacturers can pursue. That is an avenue. Both regional and international buyers will be there. So that is an opportunity to get business. If you're looking at international trade shows, which also exist, Export TT does lead missions to certain trade shows. When they do, they will send out information, and so once you're on our database, you will be in receipt of that information. If there is a trade show specific to your sector that you identify, that is something that we can also assist in terms of you attending. We do provide some financial assistance. There are some things that can be accommodated. So if you identify ones on your own, you can approach us and we can see what assistance we can give to you. But the easiest thing is, TIC is here. You don't have to fly anywhere, you don't have to pay for your hotels, because we don't cover those costs for international trade shows. Sorry, it's not allowed. So TIC is an easy one and you'll get a lot of regional representatives, which might be more in line in terms of, that's the TTMA. We do work with them with that event because we host an advised mission alongside it, but that is the TTMA. If you go on their website, I'm sure there's still booths available if that's something you're interested in pursuing. So yeah, there is a local trade show that happens every year. That is something you can definitely look into if that's up your alley. Slight segment. Yeah.
If we have markets, international markets, maybe a group of us can come together and ship a full container.
Yeah.
Right? Because we can use the same market route and ship whole containers. So it would be a good idea. Yeah.
That's where Vincent's database comes in. So all the exporters can see who's going where, and as you said, a group of you all get together. Again, make it cheaper, everybody. You load up one facility and you can make your own arrangements.
And that is something we like to encourage at Export TT for our smaller manufacturers to work together. Because of course, international competition is fierce, the costs of doing business are high. If y'all can come together and pool your resources and your information, it makes you all the more stronger. Because remember, your competitors are not really in this room. Your competitors are outside. At the end of the day, this is Trinidad and Tobago exports. So we really like to encourage our manufacturers to collaborate when and wherever possible. We actually have a little consortium that has been developed in our old cottage program, and they're doing work together. They're actually renting a booth at TIC. So there are little pockets of manufacturers who are pooling their strength and being able to do great things. So that is something that we like to encourage. So network. These are great opportunities to find exporters with common interests and needs, and you can lend support to each other, and those who are a little more advanced can give advice. These events are not just to get the information presented, it's also to find commonality, to group together. So that is something we really like to encourage. So mix and mingle when the opportunity arises. Oh, Vincent, give me a second.
Okay, so as someone was mentioning trade shows and ways of increasing exports, I just wanted to share with you all some of the initiatives that we have coming up for the rest of the year. Alright, we do bring international buyers from across the world, from Latin America and the Caribbean, to meet with exporters. Alright, but it's based on their interests. So based on products that they state that they are interested in, we will put them in contact with our manufacturers for 2 days of business-to-business meetings. It's actually free. There's not a cost for that, but it's based on the interest of the buyer. So that will happen at TTMA's TIC. As well, we are actually doing a trade mission to Colombia in September. For anybody who's interested in attending, at the trade mission, you can meet with buyers who may be interested in your products and be able to do business. For those of you all who sell products that you think can sell to the diaspora, we are doing something with Canada in October, and we have a trade show, as someone mentioned, trade show. We got funding from IDB, so we will be going to Chile for LSC flavors. So it's a food and beverage trade show, so it's strictly for food and beverage, all right? And the IDB normally covers the cost for some Trinidad and Tobago companies to go across. So if anyone is interested in LSC flavors within the food and beverage, you can probably contact us for that. And to close off the year, we will be doing a trade mission to Haiti. All right, so I'm not sure if anyone is interested in that market. It's a difficult market, but it is a market with about 10 to 12 million people. Okay, so we are looking at doing a trade show, and all of these trade missions will be led by the Minister of Trade. So I know normally when she goes, it opens doors for a lot of our companies. So those are just some of the activities that we have on board. A lot of the information dissemination seminars are free, so it's nothing to lose. You can attend and be able to understand if a market makes sense for you all before you actually spend money and actually going across the market.